Aren't you going to tell people good morning?
Well, good morning, little sunflowers. It's nice to see you poking your heads out.
Ooh.
I'm creeped out.
No matter where you're watching in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is Morning Bro. It never comes out in the morning, but it's always on time. Elijah Cummings, who is the ranking member of the Democratic Party on the Oversight Committee in the House, had previously said that he had no involvement whatsoever in guiding the IRS into targeting conservatives. Now, new emails show, actually, that Elijah Cummings was asking all these questions about how can we get information out of True the Vote, which is an organization that's meant to prevent voter fraud. So, what happened?
He's a liar.
It turns out he's a liar.
Is that what that involves, is when you
And
say
threat.
something and then it's wrong?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Did you ask questions of the IRS? Did you ask for papers for the IRS?
Right.
No. This email says that, please send me your questions. You lied.
Which kind of explains his flip out whenever people are asking her questions. It's like being like the dirty cop on the other end, like they're interrogating the drug dealer who you get your drugs from. You're like, you know what? This is all. We should just let him go.
Oh, there's no scandal here.
I mean, he's literally sat on that bench and been like, there's no scandal, this is just a witch hunt, there's nothing going on in the IRS. Meanwhile, he's conducting his own IRS-style investigation with questions to people. The guy is a flat-out liar.
The IRS is obviously expected to be non-political, right? Because they collect their money. It's like really scary to think that they are like bearing down with political pressure.
They're so obviously political. Like everything about them's got to be political, though. Like they feed that beast.
And in this case, you have a partisan Democrat coming forward and being like, "Hey, IRS, we need to ask all these questions of True the Vote." And that's exactly what happens.
And you know what? It's true, though, because True the Vote is suppressing Democratic voters, dead ones, illegal ones, ones who are voting 3 times, 4 times. If you want to suppress dead voters, you may as well go back to literacy tests. Because in the 50s, dead people couldn't pass literacy tests, and that's how the Klan kept them from voting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
That is the smartest takedown I've ever heard of anything.
I mean, isn't it interesting that the staffers, I guess, were even on administrative leave, and they're still, sending back and forth tax files? I mean,
that's an amazing amount of power to have.
A little bit of terrifying, but I guess the whole strategy is, no, it did not happen. Is clearly just the answer to all of these things.
Also, we all sort of pretend that pleading the fifth means nothing. It's like, oh, she's just not saying anything, so everyone has to make sure that you don't interpret that in any other way. Like, that's bullshit. We all interpret it as like, well, she's got something to hide.
You remember when Michael Corleone passed on his ability to you remember this? I didn't plead the fifth. I answered all the questions. I mean, I lied, but...
Cummings is going to get screwed here, not for necessarily what he did.
Yeah.
Trying to deduce whether this was partisan, whether this was political, what he was trying to get from True the Vote. That's the thing. But in Washington, it isn't what you do, it's the cover-up. He got asked, was your office asking these questions? He said no, and this is blatantly a lie.
Yeah, you kind of just got to Oliver North it and be like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did that cocaine smuggling.